Hello everyone. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Fae Farm. This is a new farming sim that focuses on magic, and this farming sim is a lot different than a lot of the farming sims that we've seen in the past. In today's video, I want to talk about all the different aspects of this game and my opinions on them, and then I'm going to be answering the $1,000,000 question, or should we say the $60 question. Who is going to think this game is worth $60 and who is not going to think this game is worth $60? When you start up this game, the first thing you're going to see is customization. Now, I have to give this game props because the customization system is pretty good. You can choose 4 different body types, and they actually have body types that are a little bit bigger, which I really like. So for my play file, I definitely chose the bigger male body type. And there's a whole bunch of other things that you can customize, like your eye color, your hair, just a ton of different options right from the very beginning. As you play the game, you can then also change your outfit, and you can really customize your outfits a lot because you can change the color of your outfits. So really, the customization of your main character in this game is great. Like, it's pretty rare to find a game that you can customize your main character this much. So if that's something that's really important to you, you're definitely really going to like this aspect of the game. Now, this game is a farming sim, so of course we have to talk about the farming in this game. Now, the farming aspects of this game, I would say that, okay, on the one hand, they're really, really good. I think that watering your crops, planting your crops, and designing your farm, all of those things are really cool, really seamless, and it's really fun. The only problem that I have with farming is that there's not really enough opportunities to farm. At least in the early game, I feel like the focus is always on other places and not so much actually farming, which I guess makes sense because this is not purely a farming sim. It focuses more on exploration and doing other things, and there's not really that much focus on the farm itself and, growing crops, which I think is kind of a shame. I was a little bit disappointed when I found out that the beans that I had been growing were worth not nearly as much as an iron seal. So personally, I would have liked it if crops sold for a little bit more, especially in the early games, that way there was more incentive to farm. But I feel like if you want to make money, yeah, farming is not the way to go. And you're really only going to farm if you need it for resources. Which leads us into our second point, which is quests. Now, as soon as you start this game, you're going to be going on quest after quest after quest. Some people will really like this. Some people, they might not like this too much, but me personally, I think it's okay. I wish there was a little bit more freedom in the early game, if I'm being completely honest. They kind of put you on quest after quest, and you have to do, certain things to progress the story, and I wish the opening was a little bit more open-ended. I wish we could kind of go around and explore before we were sent on certain quests. Next, let's talk about the mining system. Now, mining in this game is going to be very important. If you want to continue the storyline, you're going to have to get to the bottom of a mine, and mining in this game, I actually think it's really fun, which I'm really happy about. I think this game is a good example of how to do mining in a game. I've played a lot of farming sims where I really don't like the mining system, where it's really repetitive or really annoying, but in Fae Farm, I actually really like the mines. And in this game, there's actually 2 ways to go deeper into the mine. The one way is to make a seal. If you make a seal, then it will open the door automatically, and you can just go to the next level. The other way to open the door is kind of more typical, just go through and do a bunch of mining, and then you're going to hope that a switch is underneath a rock. Now, I talked about seals. How are you going to be making these seals? Well, you're going to be doing it through crafting. And crafting is something that we definitely have to talk about because you're going to be doing a lot of it in this game. This game, there's really a big focus on crafting. You really have to craft to make certain items to continue the main storyline and to upgrade your house and to just do pretty much everything in the game. You're going to be crafting. There's a lot of different types of crafting in this game, and instead of just having one crafting station, they're going to have multiple crafting stations, unfortunately. So if you want to cook, well, I'm sorry, you're first going to have to build a cooking preparation table, or maybe you're going to be chopping up the mushrooms or doing things like that. Then you're going to have a campfire, or maybe you're going to be grilling things. And then there's also going to be somewhere else that you use used to Steam, and I just think it's too much. I would prefer if just all the cooking things were in one area, especially because there's so many different types of crafting. You're going to be cooking, you're going to be having bugs that give you different materials, you're going to be making ingots, like you do in lots of other games. You're also going to be doing a ton of other different types of crafting. So, my farm, it already has a bunch of different crafting stations, and I fear as the game goes on, there's just going to be so many different places to craft things. And the last aspect that I want to touch on is the NPCs. A few commenters in the past have said that they were waiting for my first impressions video on this game, in particular because they'd heard that the NPCs were bad, and they know that for me, personally, I really like the social aspects of farming sims. If you've been following my channel for a while, you will know that socializing with the NPCs is a really important aspect to me. I have a lot of different videos talking about the marriage candidates of different farming sims, and yeah, it's something that I really like to do in the farming sims, is meet the new characters, go on dates, get to know the characters better. I love it when the characters have deep backstories and we slowly get to know about them. However, this is definitely one of Fae Farm's weaker points. Most of the characters, they kind of just have simplistic backstories. I'd seen a few other people say that some of the date scenes were interesting and, better than the bland dialogue that you normally see. But me personally, the dates that I've gone on, I was pretty unimpressed. A lot of the characters, they're fine, but they're all kind of one tone. It's not like there's deep backstories where you're slowly going to learn more and more about them and you're really interested to learn more and more about them. I felt like most of the characters, they all just kind of have the same types of dialogue. Everyone kind of has the same type of humor. Yeah, I didn't really feel like the different NPCs had different personalities. There's kind of a certain humor when you play the game, and everybody kind of has that same type of humor. I personally like playing games where they have a bunch of different characters who have very distinct personalities, and that's not something that I personally feel in this game. Now, there are some characters that I like the look of them, and, maybe I like some of their personality quirks, but on the whole, yeah, the social aspect of this game is not very good. So, that leads us back to our main question, which is, who do I think would enjoy this game and thinks that spending $60 would not be a waste of money? The first type of gamer that I think is going to love this game is people who love customization. I know some people love to play a farming sim and then decorate their homes and decorate their farms and have a unique look for their main character. If this is you, then you should stop watching this video and start playing this game right now. There's excellent customization options for your home, for your farm, and for your character. Maybe some of the best that I've ever seen in a farming sim. It's really, really good. If you really like the interior design aspect of games and you like making different outfits, then I think this game is going to be right up your alley. The second type of person I think is really going to enjoy this game is people who love going on quests. This game is going to send you on quest after quest, and I know there's some people who really, really like this style of gameplay. You're really going to get that high every time you complete a quest or you level up a skill. There's always so much to do, and you're always constantly improving, so people who really like that type of game style, you're definitely going to love this game. And the third type of person I think is really going to like this game is people who like exploration, and in particular going deeper in the mines. This game has a really unique style, and there's lots of different areas to explore, and all of the different areas seem very different. In this game, I would say all of the different aspects, from mining to crafting to farming, there's so many different items and there's so many different things to unlock. So if you're the type of gamer that likes to keep playing and unlock a bunch of different new features, then this game is definitely going to be right up your alley. Okay, and now 3 types of people that I think are not going to want to spend $60 on this game are... Number 1, people who do not like linear games. I really don't think you're going to like this game. There are a lot of farming sims that are very open-ended. Maybe you'll just start the game and then you can do whatever you want, and there's that great sense of freedom. Well, sadly, I don't think you're going to feel that in this game. The The game does open up as you go on, but the main storyline is very, please go to this area, do this, and do that, which actually kind of surprised me a little bit. I thought that the game was going to be a bit more open-ended when I went into it, but yeah, it's very linear. Which, me personally, I don't think being linear is a good thing or a bad thing. It's just, a game design choice. But yeah, don't go into this game thinking that you can just do whatever you want, whenever you want to, because yeah, the game definitely tells you where to go and what to do a lot. I suppose you could choose to not follow the main quest and just do whatever you wanted, but if you did that, there's going to be a lot of things in this game that you're not going to be able to achieve. For example, one of the main aspects of this game is getting your fairy wings so that you can go around and you can kind of like fly a little bit, but you can only do that after you finish the first mine and after you've done a lot of different crafting, and I can see a lot of gamers not liking the fact that that's hidden behind a bunch of linear quests. Okay, the second type of person who is not going to like this game is people who play farming sims mostly for the social aspects of them. As I mentioned before, I think myself and probably a lot of my viewers, we really like the social aspects of farming sims, in particular dating, maybe raising a family, and just getting to know the NPCs in the world. I think a lot of people who connected with Stardew Valley and people who connected with Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life, they were all because of the characters in the game and the relationships that you build with them. But in this game, yeah, it seems kind of like socializing with the NPCs. It was kind of more of something they just put on the back burner. It's really not put to the forefront at all. You could just completely ignore the NPCs, just treat them as quest givers, and, you wouldn't lose anything. Marriage in this game is a little bit disappointing, and get this, there's only 6 marriage candidates in this game. 6. For me, this is kind of ridiculous, almost borderline unacceptable. Now, there is going to be 2 waves of DLC, but because the main game doesn't really put much of an emphasis on marriage and just the NPCs at all, I don't know if we're going to get any more marriage candidates. But yeah, there are some unique looking marriage candidates, which is a plus, but yeah, there's only 6 of them. And no, it's not 6 bachelors and 6 bachelorettes. It's just 6 marriage candidates, period. And the last type of person that I think is not going to like this game is people who do not like fetch quests. This game is pretty much just quest after quest after quest. In a lot of farming sims, it's kind of more open-ended, where you can kind of just do what you want and then kind of discover different aspects, and then if you want to, just get deeper and deeper into that aspect. But Fae Farm is not like that. In Fae Farm, the NPCs, they give you quests, you go complete the quests, and then you keep going. So it's really like fetch quest heavy. You might have to collect some raw materials, then you're going to go to your farm, you're going to craft it, and you're going to give it to the NPC. Then the NPC is going to have another quest, and it's going to be the same thing again and again. Okay, so for people who are still on the fence, I do have one last thing that I do want to say, and that is that this game isn't quite as polished as I was expecting. So, everybody's always talking about, is the game worth $60? And I've heard a lot of people say that they think yes, because there's a lot of deep content, and, they think it's worth it because they played it a lot and they had a lot of fun with it. But for me personally, I feel like we also have to talk about the bugs in the game, and also the fact that if you're playing on the Nintendo Switch, when you're playing in handheld mode, yeah, first of all, it's really blurry, and second of all, I saw quite a few times where the frame rate dropped. Now, again, this is always just something that I mentioned because I know for some people it's a big deal, and for other people it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I would say that the performance on the Switch, if you're playing docked, it's mostly okay. Yes, there's occasionally a few strange bugs that I bumped into, like I'd been completing quests all along, and then for some reason when I was in the mine, bam, it was just like quest completed, quest completed, quest completed. I'm guessing that this is just a bug that they're going to patch eventually, but yeah, if you pay $60 for this game now and are expecting it to be bug-free, well, I got bad news for you because there's definitely some bugs in this game. So at the end of the day, what do I personally think? Um, so yes, I personally bought this game for $60. I was really on the fence about it, and I actually didn't buy it until the last few hours of the day before. I really wanted to get this cozy pre-order bonus, so that was what finally pushed me over the edge. So, am I enjoying Fae Farm? I would say yes, mostly. I really love the aesthetic of this game, and I feel like the gameplay is pretty smooth for the most part. Yeah, I have a minor complaint here and there, but on the whole, I do like the game. Do I personally think it's worth $60? Personally, in general, I would say wait for a sale. Obviously, I talked about a few people who are really going to like this game, and I think that if you're in one of those categories, you could go ahead and get it now, and you probably will enjoy it. But yeah, if you are expecting a farming sim where all of the different aspects are really good, including the social aspects, then yeah, this is not the game for you. This game, there's really not a focus on that. It's more of a focus on completing quests, going mining, exploration, and those types of things. Please let me know in the comments down below. Are you playing Fae Farm? What are your thoughts on Fae Farm? Don't forget to hit that like button, and I'll see you guys next time.